So wanted to come on here this morning and talk about, why do I keep happening? Why does this keep happening? Why does this keep showing up? You see, there's many things that those of us as survivors are going to bump up against again and again and again. And why do they keep coming up? Because we haven't fully resolved it. You see, when you're living in survival mode, your brain is wired to survive and take action to keep you in survival. So you're going to bump up against the same individuals. They're just going to have a different face. You're going to bump up against challenges in your finances. You're going to bump up against challenges in your business. Because as entrepreneurs, every time you achieve something and every time you go for something new and stretch, you're going to uncover what your limiting beliefs are, what those blocks are. And we experience that so much more than people who are not entrepreneurs, because we're constantly stretching ourselves and we're constantly looking to move forward and grow. And whenever you look to grow, limiting beliefs will pop up. And you may not know what they are until you state what it is that you want. See, I was actually watching a video with Dr. Joe Vitale yesterday, and he talked about when you set your intention, that's when the limiting belief is going to come up. So if you never set intentions, if you're someone who kind of goes along, goes with the flow, and lets life unfold instead of taking action to create the life you want, if you're someone who just lets life unfold, you're not going to run up against limiting beliefs because you're not challenging what's going on. You're not challenging the beliefs that exist. You're just, hey, whatever they are, and whatever results I get, I get. So when you're in survival mode, it's survival beliefs that are going to come up, right? So when we're transferring from living in survival mode to living out a thriving life and building that business that you want, growth happens in that process. Transformation happens in that process. So it can feel uncomfortable, and it can feel uncomfortable frequently because we are always seeking to grow and transform and go for something new. Because that's the exciting part. Because you have a vision. You have desires. You know what you want. It's just limiting beliefs pop up. And that's okay. Celebrate them. Thank your brain for showing you what that limiting belief is. Because guess what? When it shows up, you get to make a decision. You can either decide to allow that limiting belief to continue and to stay in survival mode, or you can decide to challenge that limiting belief so that you eliminate it and you continue to move forward and live out your thriving life. So as Joe Vitale said, set the intention. Set the intention for what you want. Set the intention to create that vision that you have for your life. Set the intention to create that amazing business. Set the intention, and the limiting beliefs will show up. And when they show up, thank them for showing up, because you get to work on them now. And I know that you're like me. I know you're not someone who wants to stay in survival mode and continue to be in survival mode and call yourself a survivor. Survival was meant to get you through. Survival is not meant to be a way of life. So to transform into living out your thriving life, welcome those limiting beliefs that are popping up. Don't despair. Celebrate them and challenge them, because that's when growth happens. That's when you get to go further than you've ever gone before. That's when you get to stretch and not shrink back. You pull that forward with you, and you get to stretch again, and the rubber band's going to go and go, right? So you can either have, let's use an example of a rubber band. You can say, hey, here's survival mode, and I'm going to take this rubber band and stretch it and stretch it and stretch it. And if I hit a limiting belief and I let go, guess what? You're right back there. What can happen, though, is that you're moving out of survival mode, and you're still going, and you're stretching that rubber band, stretching it to your thriving life, and you challenge that limiting belief. You know what happens? The rubber band breaks. So instead of these two being held together so tightly any longer, it breaks, and you become free to move forward. because there's nothing trying to pull you back anymore. Challenge those limiting beliefs. Move forward. Step into living out your thriving life, because that is what you're meant to do. You're meant to build this business that you know is within you. You're meant to have love, joy, financial prosperity in your life. Because you and I know there's different limiting beliefs that are going to pop up for those of us who've experienced sexual assault and domestic violence. Those who've never been violated in that way are not going to have similar limiting beliefs. And if you want to work with someone who understands the limiting beliefs that are going to come up, that is going to support you in breaking through those limiting beliefs and helping you create the thriving life, reach out to me. Drop the word transform below, because I want to help you get there, right? We are women who've experienced sexual assault and domestic violence, and we are creating amazing businesses. We are growing businesses that not only impact us personally, they impact everybody around us, and they have a ripple effect. And we're obliterating the cycle of abuse, because it's not enough to just break it. Breaks, mend, and heal. We are blowing it to pieces so that it ends. It ends with me. It ends with you. So if you are ready, and I know you are, drop the word transform below, and let's you and I have a conversation, because those limiting beliefs, we get to work on them. We get to work through them so that you create the business you want. You create the life you want. You live out your life as a thriving woman filled with love, joy, inner peace, and financial prosperity. This is Heather Dunlop. Always remember, you have strength within you.